Well, you're here promoting your new record, The Far Field. Congratulations on it. It's been out for a few months now, but still getting into people's earbuds as these things do. I want to talk a little bit about working with John Congleton. I've read a couple of interviews with him recently, and it sounds like it was a really great collaboration between the two of you, and he was really excited to work with you in the sense that you guys are really open about your music in a way that other bands aren't. I don't know how to express it as well as he did, but I guess from the other point of view, what was it like working with John?
Well, I think at the same time, while we're definitely open to his ideas, we are also probably kind of closed to, I don't know. I think we're open to his ideas, but we really, when we go into his studio, we already have, like, this is what we are going to do.
I think that's what he was saying, was that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You could explain that to him.
Yeah. No, I think it was really easy communicating with him. And John has a very similar dark sense of humor that we have, so it was just really easy getting along in the studio, cracking jokes, and just kind of we worked really, really fast, which is I think the way we want to work. We don't like to waste a lot of time because time is money. No, but just being efficient with your time. I think we're really disciplined with John, which is how he likes to work. And so it was just good all around.
There are some beautiful string and horn arrangements throughout the record via Patrick McMinn. How did that kind of come into the equation for this record?
Well, Patrick is a buddy of ours from Baltimore, and he did the string and horn arrangements on our last record, Singles. So when it came time to start, thinking about that aspect of the songs with The Far Field, we just called Patrick up, and he met up with us, and we kind of went through all the demos. We went through the ones that we thought needed certain, we'd be like, I hear a cello in this song, or Sam would be like, I think we should have horn blasts here. And we played him the ones that we thought needed some arrangements, and then we played him the ones that we were like, I don't think these need anything, but if you hear anything, we're open to trying it. And he just kind of took the songs and yeah, just he built some arrangements around it, and he sent us like some rough demos, but we really kind of heard what it was going to be like, because it was everything he sent us was kind of digital mock-ups, like on like a computer program. So there's so much more like nuance and just the movement of air that happens in the studio when you hear it actually with the recording in the studio is when you can really tell what works and what doesn't work. And Patrick's really hands-on, and he knows how to like write and read music, which we don't really know how to do that, how to read sheet music or anything. So he's sort of our translator in that world. If we'll say, can you try to make the violins do this thing where they go up? And he's like, oh yeah, you mean a so-and-so? It's like some fancy Italian word. And we're like, yeah, I guess try that or something, So in that way, he's kind of become our translator. And yeah, it's really fun to work with. It's really easy, and he's really hands-on, and he gives a shit. So it's cool. We care a lot about what we do, and we want to work with people who also care a lot about what they bring to the table.
He also doesn't get mad when we just completely don't use all the work that he's done, which is good too.
I'm sure that happens a lot.
Just like, that sounds amazing, but we're not going to use it.
Your cut, that's cut.
Yeah. But it is cool to, like, when the day that we did strings and horns, like, we knocked all the stuff out in one day. It was awesome just to have those like really amazing trained musicians in the studio doing these parts, and we're just kind of watching them and like, this sounds great. But then later we're like, let's bring it down, or cut this line. But just to hear it in this big way, we try not to get too far away from who we are and what we sound like live. You don't want to put in this crazy thing that you feel like you have to recreate live, and then bring like a 12-piece orchestra with you everywhere you go.
I think we all agree that
it would be cool though if you could do that.
It would be dope.
It's beneficial to push yourself beyond what you think you can do, and then kind of rein it back into what we're all comfortable with. You know what I mean? So I think, and that's something that John did, I think, with the production, is he definitely pushed things at times where we were like, that's cool, but that's not really what we think it should sound like.
He has taken full credit for the whole getting Blondie on the record.
It's totally his fault.
Getting Debbie on the record. What was that his call?
Yeah, that's an old song from the singles, the batch of songs that would become singles, and we thought that was going to be on that album, but we pulled it back out for this batch of songs because we all believed in that song and we wanted it to see the light of day somehow, even if it was just a B-side to a single. We just wanted it to get out, and when John heard the song, he really believed in it also. And we were like halfway through the recording of all the sessions for the album, and we were still kind of going back and forth between the three of us and you know our manager and John and our drummer Mike. We were all just kind of like, who do you think? And we were throwing all the names we could think of. You know, we were like. We couldn't agree on one person, and then Sam was recording his parts, and John had been telling us about what it was like working with Blondie because he just did the new Blondie album, and he just said, you know what, I can really hear Debbie on this song. What do you think? Would you guys be into that? And we're like, yeah, if you think she would do it, that'd be fucking sick. So that's sort of, and then pretty quickly, like he wrote her an email and sent her the demo, and within a few days she had agreed to she was like, let's figure out how to do it, you know, and she recorded her parts in New York. We recorded ours in LA.
You mentioned Mike. It's the first time he's actually recorded with you on an album. How did that change the dynamic in the studio, and has that helped in the live translation as well after the fact that you already had that in the bag in the process of making the record?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Mike definitely brings a lot to the table, and he has his own ideas about how he can speak the language of drums a little bit better than I think we can. Like he'll just be like, I can throw a fill in here and it will sound really cool. We're like, what do you mean? And he'll just do this crazy fill. I don't know. And just having that chemistry and like it just adds another dynamic. It adds another energy. I think another dimension to what we do. Having Mike behind the kit, on the record.
I think in a way it affected probably how we wrote the songs too, from the get-go, because going into writing for the record, we knew that we had a drummer, and it was the first time writing, because we've written as a three-piece for 9 years now, since our original drummer left the band, maybe a little bit longer than that. But this is the first time where we're like, well, we have a drummer. We know that there are going to be drums, and they're going to be a big part of these songs. So I think it did affect some of how we wrote, or made us feel more comfortable about writing the songs. And then before going into the studio, it was the first time that we were actually playing the songs with Mike before going into the studio, instead of just recording a whole album and then being like, okay, let's put drums on now one day and bring in a friend to come and just put in drum fills and accents and those kinds of things. So it was much more integral, or like in the record, than anything we'd done before. And I think it gave it a much more bombastic feel, in more of like making us sound, I don't know if it's good or bad, but making us sound like a rock band, I think, more than ever before.
And the way that we recorded this record is a little different in that we did all the bass and drums live to tape, which usually it was just when we go to make a record, we would record the bass with the drum machine, and so there this way John had the idea to make the live drums trigger the electronic sounds. So he took the electronic drums off of the kind of quantized track. And then, Mike's playing to a click, but it's still, there's a little bit of, it's more organic, it's not so robotic. So I think it gave the record more of a, just having those elements recorded live, just more of that live feeling, that energy.